Hello everyone, my name is Mrs. Klein. I'm a 5th grade English teacher. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel and have no idea what I want to start one about, so I'm just gonna film something and post it, right? I found these books at, I live in Louisiana, but I visited Nashville recently and went to McKay's used bookstore, and these are the books that I picked up. Which I'm very excited about, and I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to describe kind of what I think these books are about and why I decided to pick them up. I have not read any of these. Disclaimer, if you're picking out books for students, you should always look them up on Common Sense Media. It's always best, and as much as possible, it's always best to read the books before you put it in your library. But as an alternative, or at least you should look them up on Common Sense Media before you start sharing them with kids, just so you know what they're getting into. Okay, with that out of the way, let's begin. So, these two books, I actually saw, these two books are by John Stevens. Oops. And John Stevens looks like he had a ton of books on the shelf. He had a lot of books on the shelf at McKay's. And, but I picked up these two. This is the first of the series, and this is the second of the series, titled The Books of Beginning. The first book is titled, oops, wrong order. The first book is titled The Emerald Atlas. And the second book is titled The Fire Chronicle. And I picked them up because it looks like a fun adventure book, and it has both of these look like they have a cast of characters. Okay, I don't know if these are just archetypal characters or how fully developed they are, but I'm sure this is the kind of book that's just mainly fun and adventure, which I usually enjoy. This is the kind of book that, you know, I might read, but mainly these are probably going to be for students. And if I read them, it'll be a one and done kind of thing. Let's see, what else do I have? Back to Blackbrick. Now, this looks like a fun mystery type book, right? This key is given to the main character by their granddad, and he has to kind of discover these secrets about the family. So, fun mystery book. I think I will definitely read this and enjoy it, and so will my students. The Charmed Children of Rookskill Castle by Janet Fox. And it wasn't that expensive, so one reason I picked some of these books up is because, you know, between $4 or $5, it's like, why not? But also, this looks like a fun thriller book, right? This is like slight like mystery thriller. The kids go to this castle and have to discover its secrets. Looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy reading this. Nadya, Skylung, and the Cloudship Rescue. Now this book, again, it's like a one and done book, but it looks like it's a fun read. I mean, fantasy, adventure, what more could you want, right? And it has a cast of characters, just like that John Stevens book. A cast of characters that could be archetypal, who knows, but fun. The Sea of Trolls. Now, I have not read this. I haven't read any of these, but this is a well-known series, and I think it is well-loved in the young adult world. Usually you'll see a stack of novels anywhere, in a used bookstore you go. But I really think I'll enjoy it. I do like adventure ship type sea books. Yeah, this looks like fun. And if I like it, great. If not, then it just goes on my bookshelf for kids to read. But I think this isn't one in a long series that most kids really like. I may read the whole series. Let's see. Now, this is an interesting book. The Dreamer by Pam Munoz, Ryan, and Peter, I don't know how to pronounce. Forgive me, I'm probably mispronouncing names here. The reason I picked up this book is because of the author. I really love this author. The cover looked interesting, but it really wasn't what I was looking for. But when I saw the author, I was like, I have to pick this up because I love this author. I also have her other book, Esperanza Rising. I have the English and Spanish. I already have English and Spanish versions from when I read these with my students. Like I went on Amazon and I bought a couple extra copies for my students. But every time I see them in the store, especially a used bookstore for that cheap, I pick up an extra couple copies because whenever we have extra time at the end of class or at the end of the year in that last week where, grades are already turned in and, we have to figure out what to do. I really like picking this book up, especially since I have some Spanish speaking students. This is a great way to bridge the gap. It's beautiful language. I mean, oh my gosh, gorgeous. This particular Esperanza Rising is Riches to Rags. It's like a reverse Cinderella story. And it's just beautiful. So I love Esperanza Rising so much. I had to pick up this one just to see if I like it as much. I'm sure I will because I love, and again, adventure. I love adventure. The other book she wrote that I read recently is titled Echo. And it has fantasy and adventure. Well, I don't know if you'd say adventure. It has fantasy, fairy tale, and also historical fiction. Echo was just a wonderful book. I really, really enjoyed reading it. So I really like this author. I had to get it. Here is the author Cornelia Funke, and she wrote this book titled Dragonrider. This is the kind of book I mainly picked up for my niece because she likes dragons. But that is a well-known author, right? So she's written a lot. Cornelia Funke has written a lot of books. This author has also written The Thief Lord, which is, I think, more well-known and well-read, at least with, English teachers. I have not read it, but I know I want to and I need to, and so I picked it up and I will. So we got the Dragonrider mainly for my niece, but if I don't see her, it'll just go on my shelf with my students. The Thief Lord, I definitely plan on reading. I mean, just look at that summary, right? Welcome to the magical underworld of Venice, Italy. Done. I want to read it already. Prosper and Beau are orphans on the run. Done. Like, boom. I wanna read this book. Like, whenever I see a line like that, done. I want to read it. That's my type, right? Seraphina, I picked up this book. I've actually already read this book a while ago, but I picked it up for my niece, so she could have a copy. Hopefully I'll see her before she picks up a copy of her own. But this is definitely different. This book has a different cover than the one I have. I think the one I have is more modern, but I like this cover better. So that's why I picked that up. Firebringer. This is another one I mainly picked up because I thought my niece might like it. Because I suspect she really likes animal type books. But if she doesn't, that's okay. I was kind of interested because the summary says that this is a grand epic of old Scotland with echoes of mystery, history, scripture. David has created a classic hero tale full of thrilling action and told with the resonance of legend. And I love, again, I know that's what really sold me on it, is I like heroes' tales, thrilling action, and it's kind of, you can tell it's like about this tyrannical lord of the herd. Okay, so, I mean, this looks like a really fun, interesting book. I don't know if this is one I would normally gravitate toward, but I might read it just because it looks interesting. I thought my niece might like it, but I would want to read it at first, I think, just to make sure, because it might be too graphic. I'll have to look at it and make sure first, but it definitely looks interesting either way. Wish. I definitely am not interested in this, but I think my niece will be. Has a cute animal in it. I think kids would really like this. It looks uplifting. It looks heartwarming. So it'll sit on my shelf for my students, or my niece will get it. One of the two. Oh man, this one. The more I read about this, I haven't read it, but the more I read about it, the more interested I am. So, like, the cover alone was very interesting. This book is titled The Bone Sparrow, and I don't want to mispronounce this name. I'm just going to show it. And it says of itself that it is a poetic tale of friendship. Oh, that's, again, right up my alley. And the more I read about it, the more interested I am. The main character is a refugee who was born in a detention center. The birds tell him their stories. The magical night sea from his mother's stories brings him gifts. His imagination threatens to burst beyond the limits of the fences until one night it seems to do just that. You can tell when you're reading a summary, there's something about some summaries that just tell me exactly what I want to hear, right? That this is going to be a heart-wrenching story, right? You know that this character is going through some really dark, difficult times, and the beauty in the imagination and the humanity that you're probably going to see in this book is going to be beautiful, right? And so this is the kind of book that I may have to buy an extra copy because I may want this one to sit on my shelf because I may like it so much I may want to read it again. Some books are one and done, and this one is like, this is so good I may want to read it with my students, right? Depending on if I feel like, depending on how graphic it is and everything else. But man, it just looks like a beautiful tale. It looks like it's going to have beautiful language in it. It looks like it's going to be enjoyable. And I haven't even read it yet, and I'm already obsessed. So, what do we have left? Let's see. The Marvels by Brian Selznick. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now this book is so heavy. Oh my gosh, but it is gorgeous. Look at that gold foiled cover and the gold foiled, edging on the page leaves. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. It's heavy. But I had to pick it up because, it was a good deal. But also, let me see. This book is also written by the author of Wonderstruck and the Invention of Hugo Cabaret. Neither of which I have read yet, but I plan to, right? It's just such an interesting medium that this author uses to tell stories. This book is the story is told in pictures for the most part. And it's just so interesting. The problem I have, the reason I have not read these books yet is because it definitely is a new experience trying to read a book of just pictures. And so that's, whenever there's something new or out of your comfort zone, you just kind of put it off and you put it off and you put it off. So that's what has happened, is I just haven't read these other books yet, but I really, really want to. And now that I found a good deal, I was like, all right, I have no more excuses. I need to read at least one of these types of books. And I definitely should read the other ones too, and I'm sure I will eventually. But it definitely takes some getting used to reading this kind of medium. Kind of like a comic book without any words, So it's just very interesting and beautiful. And then the last two books, which I'm very interested in reading, excuse my leg. Wildwood and Wildwood Imperium, written by Colin Meloy and illustrated by Carson Ellis. Now, these books are very interesting. They're fantasy. You know, this is the first of the series. Oh, I believe this one's the first of the series, and Imperium is the second of the series. And they're like fantasy. They're huge. They're thick, right? But they're fantasy, adventure, wilderness, creatures. Excellent. Like, you know, my cup of tea, right? There's just some summaries where you look at them and say, yep, that one's for me. And this is just the kind of thing I enjoy reading. And so I'm very excited about these books. If I enjoy it, I may enjoy it so much that, I buy an extra copy and let the kids have that copy, because I may want to keep this one for myself, because how have I never heard of this book? I just don't understand. Like, I just, you know, there's so many books, and I'm just now stumbling across it. I'm excited. Okay. Those are the books that I discovered at McKay's and I'm very excited about. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and have a good day. Bye!